The war spreads deep into Cambodia. The U.S. has authorized an invasion. 32,000 troops attacked Fishhook and Parrots Peak for 2 months. The invasion would ultimately destroy Vietcong supplies and set back North Vietnamese plan for 2 years. A military success, but a political disaster.
The invasion of Cambodia sent a message to the U.S. public that the war was only spreading. On May 4, 1970, students and other demonstrators protested at Kent State University in Ohio. In the midst of chaos, Ohio National Guards opened fire, killing 4 students. They also confronted student anti-war protesters with a tear gas barrage, claiming that it was necessary at the time.
Stop this war! Stop this war! Stop this war! Stop this war!
The National Guard threw tear gas!
Stop this war! Stop this war! Stop this war!
While protests surged on, attempts to attain peace continued. In June 1970, Henry Kissinger and Le Duc Tho meet in Paris for a second time.
President Nixon, on February 8, 1971, South Vietnamese troops in the test of Vietnamization policy invaded Cambodia.
So what were the results?
Sure, they were decisively beaten. I don't think this war will last any longer once our ground troops withdraw completely.
We'll just have to see.
New York Times, getting New York Times, Pentagon Papers published, records of U.S. involvement in Vietnam.
What do you say about Vietnam?
Oh, didn't you hear? Documents of U.S.-Vietnam relations were released. Here, the New York Times has excerpt from Pentagon paper documents.
Thanks. Oh boy, this is the biggest leak yet.
New York Times, getting New York Times.
President Nixon reports from Vietnam say that on March 30, 1972, the North Vietnamese launched a massive attack on the 3 fronts of South Vietnam called the Eastern Offensive.
This is the biggest offensive since Tet. What do you suppose we'll do?
We attack. Set forth Operation Linebacker. We will bomb the north in Hanoi and Haiphong in April 15 with our B-52 bombers.
Soviet captured Quang Tri City on May 1, 1972. We are now winning, sir. The collapse of South Vietnam is now becoming inevitable.
Henry Kissinger and Le Duc Tho of North Vietnam meet again in Paris on May 2nd for peace talks. This round of talks fails and is suspended to May 4th, 1972.
President Nixon, we're having trouble with the peace talks. The North Vietnamese just isn't cooperating.
Over my dead body. If they do not respond to peace, then we use violence to get them to the peace table.
What are your plans, sir?
I am giving an order. On May 8th, we will mine Haiphong and other harbors in North Vietnam. Then we will step up the bombings and proceed by blockading North Vietnam coast.
Yes, sir.
On June 18, North Vietnam retreats due to the bombing and blockade of Quang Tri City was retaken successfully, and North Vietnamese agreed to proceed with the peace talks.
Newspaper, come get a newspaper. Nixon takes the 1972 election by a landslide.
Nixon was re-elected? Oh, brother.
On January 27, 1973, Henry Kissinger and Le Duc Tho meet once again in Paris. Kissinger anticipates the closing of the peace talks despite the shaky previous 4 meetings.
It's nice to see you again.
Good day, Mr. Kissinger.
After much discussion and negotiation, Henry Kissinger and Le Duc Tho finally settle on a compromise.
I think we're about ready to sign the Paris Peace Accords.
I agree, but before we do, we must reveal the main points.
Of course. First, there will be an immediate ceasefire.
Yes, but furthermore, armies from both sides would keep control of whatever territory they held at the time of ceasefire.
Yes.
U.S. troops would leave Vietnam within 60 days.
Prisoners of war will be exchanged, and after the ceasefire, a political settlement would be negotiated that would include democratic elections and the reunification of Vietnam.
Yes.
Then I presume we are clear on the compromise points. Shall we sign the peace accord?
Yes, we shall. I guess this finalizes it.
From February to March in 1973, the North Vietnamese began returning American prisoners of war. About 591 prisoners were released.
President Nixon, due to the continual bombing of Laos and Cambodia in a 219 to 188 vote, the House cuts of Indochina funds.
Senate also took strong action prohibiting the use of any funds appropriated by Congress to be used for combat activities in Laos or Cambodia.
I understand that. When does this become effective?
Congress had officially cut off funds for war on June 3, 1973. This is to become effective on August 15.
Oh, alright.
Newspaper, get to newspaper. Henry Kissinger and Lee Duc-tho awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for ending the war in Indochina.
Oh, really?
Yep, but Lee Duc-tho refused to accept the award though.
Why?
Because he thinks they're still fighting in reality. You want one?
No, thank you. I already know what it's about.
As the year 1973 came to a close and 1974 rolled around, the war in Vietnam continued.
Reports say that Nixon has resigned on August 9, 1974. U.S. ground troops have almost fully retreated. South Vietnam is weakening. We are making progress. Victory is ours!
Communists have broken into Saigon, the capital of South Vietnam, on April 29, 1975. The gates of the presidential palace met with a front line of tanks smashed within minutes. The decades of war had come to an end.
Without American military aid, the Saigon government was unable to fend off North Vietnamese attacks. South Vietnam crumbled as Americans evacuated and thousands of Vietnamese scrambled to flee their
Uncle
country.
Sam needs your help again. Got himself in a terrible jam way down yonder in Vietnam. Put down your books and pick up a gun. We're gonna have a whole lot of fun. And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for?